This video will look at the final keyword in Java. Put simply, final stops something from being changed. So as a good example at the minute, here's our code. We've created a scanner. We ask the user what their name is. They type in their name. We read it in using the scanner, and then we print out their name. So if we run that, we'll see what happens. Hello, what is your name? I type Andrew. It says hello, Andrew. At the minute, though, I could accidentally, for example, change name to a different name like this. So the net effect of that would be if I type my name here, it's going to say hello Dave, which is not what we really want. A way to avoid that error would be to mark this variable with the final keyword, and that will prevent it from being changed down the line. So you can see here we're now getting a compilation error, cannot assign a value to final variable name. And if we run that, you can see it doesn't. It won't compile. So we now know we've got an error in our code. So that's probably how you use final in its most simplest form. But there's some other ways we can use it as well when it comes to class design. So let's say rather than printing out hello here, we take a slightly different approach and we create a greeter class, which I've happily created already. This greeter class has a constructor which takes a name, which should really be private, and it has the ability to get the name, and it has the ability to greet, right? It will print out hello and the person's name. And the other thing we have is a posh greeter class. The posh greeter class extends the greeter and also prints that name, but instead of saying hello, it says good day. So let's just start off by changing our code to use the greeter class. So we'll collect the user's name, we'll create the greeter, and then we'll ask the greeter to do the greeting. So we can say greeter greet. So if we see that in action, we'll see not much change. I type my name and it greets me and it says hello Andrew. However, if I decide to use the posh greeter instead and I run that and I type my name, it says good day Andrew. So why is this important when it comes to using final? Well, there's two things. If we look at our greeter class, the first thing we might decide is, well, actually, we're never actually changing the name. And even IntelliJ IDEA here is saying, you're never changing this, so we can make it final. That's good. That avoids some more mistakes. It won't have any impact on our the running of our code other than to hide one of the warnings. But what we can also do is prevent methods from being overridden. So let's say, for example, we didn't want the posh greeter to be able to change the behavior of the greet method. If I mark this as final, we'll see we've now got a problem in the posh greeter class where I'm no longer allowed to override it. So final can be used to prevent methods from being overridden in child classes. The other thing we can do with it is we can actually prevent a class from being extended altogether. So if I come back here and temporarily take that one out, what I can do is I can say public final class greeter, and what we'll see here now is that the posh greeter is not allowed to extend the greeter class. So just to summarize, the final keyword can be used from preventing a variable from being changed, but it can also be used to prevent a method from being overridden or indeed a class from being extended.